Hello YouTube, this is Ready Set Exploit and we're back with another video. It's been a little while, mainly because summer's finally ending. It's getting cooler. I don't have to use my AC, which kills the audio quality. So anyway, we're gonna be doing b3dr0ck from TryHackMe. It's a fun box, perfect for beginners. We start by finding a web server. It doesn't have anything on it, but it tells us that it is using that there is a TCP socket port, socket listening on a high port. I think it's port 9009, and then we use that port to get some authentication files to another port that's also listening on TCP using TLS, and we get some credentials with that port. Now that part is a little bit tricky, and I'll cover that in a little bit, but with that password we gain access to the server. We find more certificates and going back to that TLS server to get another password of a second user, and then this user can run a command that can encode the root's password that's already encoded a couple times, so we can just decode it and get the root's password that way. So perfect for beginners, a lot of CTF elements for anyone that's starting to kind of think out the box a little bit. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and get started. So first, I'm going to go ahead and open up terminal here. I'm going to make this a bit bigger so we can see. And I'm going to call this Nmap. So I'm going to go ahead and get the IP address of the machine. I'm going to do a quick Nmap scan. -v, min rate 10,000. Since a lot of packets really fast, I'm going to go ahead and do the IP address -b-, and I'm gonna grep for open ports. You don't have to do the grep part. I just like to do it because it minimizes the output. And there it is. We get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The -v allows me to view the results as they come up, so I don't have to just sit there and wait. So we have about 5 ports open. Not a lot of info. We can see 22 and 80. It's SSH, 80 HTTP, and then we have these other 3 unknowns. Nmap tries to guess what it is here on the version, but we can now do a more detailed scan with -v, -svc. So the -v is for enumerate versions, and then c is for run default scripts. Save it to a file called nmap .text, the IP address, and then we're gonna go ahead and focus just on those ports. Now this does take a little bit of time, especially because of the higher ports. I already ran this before, and we're gonna go ahead and review it, so we're not just waiting. So we already knew port 22 runs OpenSSH. We have 8.2 P1 Ubuntu. We have port 80 running Nginx 1.18 HTTP, and this Nmap does a good job at let me minimize this one and this one. There we go. That's a good job of telling us the page is redirecting us to port 4040, which is still Nmap doesn't know. It does know it's using some kind of SSL, TLS, and it does tells us the page a little bit here. We can read about this a bit later. SSL certificate, and then we have port 9009. Nmap tries to guess what it is, but we see some kind of TCP. It gives us a question here in the little logo. Not the best logo that Nmap tries its best to print it. Then we have this pretty high port 54321. It is a TLS port, which is not sure what it is. Nmap is trying to do some kind of fingerprint, but we know TLS is running on it, right? And that's pretty much it on Nmap. I'm gonna close this one and see if this one's still running. So what we can do is, first thing I'm gonna do is check the website. I'll leave this here for now. Get my IP address. Open this up. If we enter the IP address, we see it redirects us to port 4040. And we have this, welcome to ABC. Abadava Broadcasting Company. We're in the process of building a website. Can you believe this technology exists in b3dr0ck? So if you've never seen the Flintstones based off that show, have Barney, potential username, it's Barney. Figure out engine X. Try to set up SQL database, but it's not running. So we know SQL is out of the question. So we have a port running over 9,000 and need to try secure connections with certificates. Okay, so we have some hint as to what's happening. The source doesn't have anything either. So we can try checking out the ports. 9009. Try again. Nope. So this doesn't work. And we see that it does hang on port 9009, so it's trying to connect. So it's not a website. We can eliminate this. Call this port 9009. And we can, oh, there you go, our Nmap finish. I'm gonna close this window. So now, and see, we're gonna do netcat to connect to it. Could also use telnet, but I usually prefer netcat. So there it is. Welcome ABC. What are we looking for? We could type help, and it tells. It looks like the secure login service is running, and there we go. We have more information on port 54321, and it gives us the command, but it tells us we need a machine IP, which we have. We don't have a cert file or a key file. So if we try typing things like anything, hello, doesn't know, so we can use this service to recover our certificate or private key. So if we do certificate, get a certificate. Actually, anything with the word cert will do. So if we do cert, gives cert, and anything with the word key on it also works. So we could do private key, get key, key works. Okay. Anyway, let's do this. Cert. Copy everything. I'm gonna do port 54321. Make this bigger. I'm gonna do cert. Paste. And then we're gonna go ahead and get the key here. So it's an RSA key, but it's not an SSH key. We can, so this won't work in here, and there we go. So if we do file cert and key, we have a PEM RSA private key and a PEM certificate. So we try help again. We get our command. So let's go ahead and copy that. So we have our key file, key, and we have cert, and our IP, which is right, where to go? Right here. And we're gonna go ahead and connect, and there we go. We connected to Java.do service. Welcome Barney. So we're Barney Rubble. We're authorized. It almost looks like a shell. So we type ID. Nope. Services for login and password hits. Login is disabled. We have to use SSH. Password hints. So what if we do password hints? Okay. So we're given this password hint, and it gives us the full name of the user. Now this looks like an MD5 hash. And there's a couple ways to verify this. We could do MD5. We could do hash identifier, hashes.com, hash analyzer. We could do Kali, or we could do this site. Right? So this site, MD5, hash analyzer, MD5, MD4, MD5, and I'm not a robot, or am I? Okay, there. All right. And a lot, but mainly MD5, right? So it's an MD5 hash, looks like one. And this is where if you can go down a bit of a rabbit hole, right? So let's save this file called hash.txt. We're gonna run hashcat. So hashcat-m0. That's standard for if you're running with an MD5 hash. You could Google hashcat examples and the hashcat.net page. See, MD5, and you can just look at the type of hash you like and examples, and it tells you the hash mode. So -m for hash mode, 0 the file, and we're going to use rock and it'll run pretty quick. Exhausted, didn't find anything on that hash. So we couldn't find a password on rock, and if you use seclist, which you could just Google seclist and to get the GitHub repository, there is a lot of password files to try. You could also try other websites, so like 5hash cracker, like crackstation, decrypt, right? So you can try these things. I want to do this again, okay? Chimneys, there and there. Crack it, no. This one, no. So when you're in a situation, and this really just came down to experience, right? I haven't encountered this before. If you encounter something that looks like a hash and you just can't crack it, try different word lists and try different sites. Just last resort, try the hash itself. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use Hydra because we have a pretty good idea what the username is, Barney, right? But we're not sure. Let's just do Barney rubble b rubble Barney r, something like that. And then we're gonna use Hydra. And where is it? 178245, and we can just run it with the password we found, and it finds a match for Barney, which we kind of already figured that's what it was. So we're gonna do SSH Barney, and it is 178.245. Yes, to add it to our known host, paste the password, and we're in. There we go. We're the Barney user, there's a Barney text, not in anything interesting. And we can do sudo l to see if we can run any command as root, paste our password again. We can run this command, okay? And man, look at the man page, and it's interesting, there's nothing on it except this file. And if we do man certutil Linux, right, manage keys and certificates, so this could be interesting. If we try to look at the file itself, it is a symbolic link. That means it is linked to this file over here. You could see that by doing ls-l. So it's linked to this real file. So that's the real file there. And if we do a file on that file, we see it is a Node.js script. And that's what we saw earlier. Right? It looks at, it wants, requires these certs. So we could do ls wants to, so certs, we see, oh no, whoops, there we go, this, we have certs, the certs, another Node.js script, and unless you're an expert, which I'm not, you could probably figure what's going on here, but it's just calling certificates. And how do I know that for sure? Let's just run the command. I need that password again. So -L. Whoops. Actually, let's just go back. Where'd it go? There. So we're gonna do sudo. Oh, okay, it's already. If you haven't run sudo in a while, it'll ask you for the password again. So we have. So this is it's a tool that was constructed. So show current certs ls. We want to generate a new key pair, but let's see what else we have. We have our Barney certs, which we already kind of knew, which we already had before from port 9009. We want Fred certs, so then we can authenticate to Java services as Fred. And we need the username. We kind of figure it's Fred's. We can look at home directory, Fred, or we can look at etc passwd grep bash, and there it is, Fred. We have the full name, Fred Flintstone. So let's do Fred. You want to put this in quotations because otherwise it won't take it as a full string. And there we go. We have a the certificate and key. Close that. Do Fred cert certificate and key for Fred. And then we do Fred key. I paste. And now we're gonna run the same command, but with a new certificate and key, and there we go. Welcome Fred Flintstone is authorized. So we do help. Same thing. I just password. I'll do it. There we go. We have the password for Fred Flintstone that actually looks like one. Do it right from here. su-fred. We also could choose SSHN. So we'll do Fred. And there we go. We're Fred. And interesting, help. I don't know if that's, yeah, that's, we could check out the groups. CD-ROM, that's standard. I want to say that's standard. I'm actually not sure, but it doesn't matter. Nothing great. If we do sudo-L, we can run this as root. We can do base32. So we're just either base32 or base64 this file, which is most likely the root password. So we're gonna go ahead and sudo, and there we go. So it encoded it. We're just gonna pipe it over. And we don't know what this looks like. This probably isn't a password. It looks like an encoded string. So you could do this with CyberChef. CyberChef has a nice little magic module here. And we're gonna copy this and paste it. And it actually decodes it right away. So it says this is from base 62 and then from base 64. So if we repeat those steps, from base 32, and then from base 64, we have what appears to be a hash, MD5 hash. No wait, it's hash analyzer. There we go. Hashes.com. There we go. So is it a fake hash? I don't know. Maybe. Can try it. Doesn't work. We also could have done this. Base 32-D, base 64-D. There we go. So what do we do now? Let's see. We're going to do hash, bi hash, make this bigger. Delete. See if rock works. And it doesn't. can crack this again. So now remember, usually 3 options, right? Usually you have 1 hash. If you found 1 hash, you most likely the hash that we need. Hash cracker, and I don't know if any of these other ones worked. Let's see. Try this one. Yes, mountains or hills? Mountains, mountains, mountains. Crack. We got the password there. Try this one. Nope. This one. No. So, there's one site that has it, and again, it just came down to experience, right? So, root. So, situations like this, if it's usually one of the 3, you can either crack it or rock you, or maybe if you're lucky, one of the other files you have. That's when it starts getting a little tough, because as you see, there's a lot of files. If we go to the folder, I'm gonna do sudo because this is under opt, and we look for the files, it doesn't find it. Doesn't find the word, so if we look at, like, for the word password, see, it's everywhere. Look for this password, doesn't. So trying those lists, you would have never found it, and we're the root user. So sometimes just having a few sites handy might help you out. Relying just on word lists won't always help you. So that's pretty much the machine. Hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, perfect for beginners. Learn a few things here and there. Learn about how to connect to services, different ports, and just how to do basic usage of binaries. Just how to deduce how they're working, how they're built, so that way you can get better understanding how this machine was made. So feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and see you all next time.